GODFORGE is a brand new cross-platform hero collector RPG coming from the studio Fateless. If you don't know who Fateless is, it's a collective of content creators, and honestly, I think that this group is one that kind of has a vested interest in making sure that whatever game that they develop is going to be widely accepted by the community and enjoyed by the community. It's people who play these games for a living, and I think that gives kind of an element of buy-in to the development of the game that you don't really see a lot from some of the bigger studios that are out there. Now, the cool thing about this game is all the champions are based on myths and legends that you've heard before in your childhood. And I think while there's not any general IP that's associated with the game, having that little bit of lore that you kind of already know about specific champions or groups of champions is going to make it that much more fun to jump in and pick a team to build up. Now, this is a strategy game. It's going to be turn-based. You're going to have a lot of squad building elements. There's going to be a huge emphasis on gear and making sure that your champions are outfitted with items that are going to help you push through the campaign and other aspects of the game. Now, I'm super excited about having a game that has both PvP and PvE focuses, because if you know my main channel at all, I cover DC Dark Legion exclusively on that channel. And that game is a little bit more 4X focused. It's very strategy oriented, and there's a lot of ship combat, so you're not really getting to control your champions. I come from a background in hero collectors where I normally played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, or at one point I was playing Lord of the Rings Heroes of Middle-earth, which shut down, and really want to get back to the roots of having champions you can control and being able to do things to your squad that kind of makes it unique, and you're not just playing with a cookie cutter squad that anybody else came up with. Now, obviously there are going to be metas that you're going to be following in games like this, but there are just going to be a massive amount of champions that you can play and ways to build your roster. This game plays very much like Raid Shadow Legends. I know that some of the folks on the Fateless team and also other content creators in the community who have started covering this game a little bit, at least in kind of the alpha stages, have sort of a Raid background, and this game does play very similarly to Raid in a lot of aspects, but I do think that there are a ton of differences. Now, I'm not a big Raid guy. I've never really truly focused on that game and tried to play it, so I'm really excited to kind of maybe bring a fresh perspective on this game and provide some content that may be a little bit refreshing for someone who's new to the genre and trying to kind of figure things out themselves, because I'll definitely be trying to figure out things on my own and working maybe with some of you guys in the community and some of my friends who may be jumping into this game to put together some guides and other helpful content for you. What I've been known for as a player is someone who tries to help others who maybe don't quite understand the game as well as I do, and I'm definitely never going to be the biggest whale at all or the best player of the game. There's always going to be somebody better out there than me. So I like to try to curate content from others who do know how to play the game much better and try to provide that information out to the community. I'm super excited about giving this game a shot, seeing how this channel will grow in the future, and maybe working with some other creators in the community down the road. So with that out of the way, let's take a look around to what is available in the game so far. You can see that there are a couple of places that are unlocked. We've got some explorations, which I'm assuming are probably some kind of side missions that you'll be able to do outside of the main ladder that you're going to be working through. We've got the Pantheon Hall. I'm not sure what's going on there. That could be your League or PvP. Maybe someone already knows the answer to that from some of the dev discussions and things that are out there. We also have the GODFORGE, and the GODFORGE is going to be presumably your main way of summoning and acquiring champions. Really cool to see that here kind of in the center of your screen. And then we've got the market, so that's where all of your game economy is going to be located. Probably be able to buy gear recipes and any sort of any ways that you're going to be able to augment your champions or push through with the story, that's going to be located in the market. So they're still working on that. The things that you do have access to, obviously we have the battle, and we'll jump into the battle screen in a moment. We also have your hero selection down in the bottom right. And we have our profile in the top left. And then we have Wayland's Smithy. So Wayland's Smithy is going to allow you to view your collection of weapons, refine those weapons. You'll be able to do imprints, which is going to give you specific boosts or attributes for your roster, and then you'll be able to deconstruct any items that you have left over. We also have the Anvil of Creation, and this is where you're going to be able to get imprints. Basically, these imprints are extracted from your champion, so you're going to take maybe, if you have 5 or 6 copies extra of a champion that you're working on, you can select that hero, and it's going to, when you extract that hero, it's going to give you an imprint of that champion. That's going to go into your imprint library, and you'll be able to use those to kind of transmute and work on your gear and build your champions up. So it's definitely kind of it's going to be an in-game concept, maybe like mid-game to in-game concept for you. And we'll cover that on future videos. We do have a few resources that you're going to be able to pull from as you're playing the game. Obviously, we have our energy, and that's going to be the main way that you're able to challenge new floors in the campaign mode. You've got your gold, you've got gems here, or rubies, that you'll be able to spend probably to do summons and other high-level things on your account. That's probably going to be the most premium currency in the game starting out. We can go over to the hero screen. I just started this playthrough, so I have Lady Zoc. Now, there are 3 champions that you're able to choose from when you first start out. Lady Zoc tends to be the champion that most people go with, and I really like Lady Zoc because she does have a really high speed stat, and in my opinion, speed is the most important stat that you can have in games like this. I do love incapacitate abilities and that sort of thing, but having really high speed and a lot of AoE tends to do really, really well in games like this. You can get some basic information about your champion over here on the right-hand side, and it's going to give you your champion type. Lady Zoc is a Slayer. You've got your affinity, and affinities are going to give you advantages and disadvantages versus other affinities. Really cool how they have this one set up. You've got a little bit more typing here. So Lady Zoc is going to be a Chaos Champion. And then I'm going to butcher this, but Amayakan is the faction that Lady Zoc is going to be part of. And then we do have the ability to upgrade. So you're going to be able to promote, ascend, and work on the abilities of your champions based on the materials that you're going to get through the campaign. So definitely want to be focusing on that as you play through. You're going to have the ability to add or upgrade all of your abilities for the champion. You work on your gear, work on the awakening. So awakening is going to give you some very specific things that some of your abilities can do as you unlock that. And that's going to be really important as you work through building your champion up as well. If we go into the battle screen, we are eventually going to have arena. We're going to have dungeons. There are going to be bosses that probably will cycle through. There's going to be a basic campaign, and then there's going to be Caverns. Caverns is the thing that is available in the game as of right now, and you're going to have a ton of stages. So you can see there should be 100 total stages. You have 300 total stars that you can get through. See if we can get down to the end. I misspoke. So there are 151 stages in the Caverns. And you'll notice as you go through the various stages in the Caverns that there are a couple of patterns that happen. So basically, as you go through levels 1 through 10, and then you repeat that over time. So 1 through 10, 11 through 20, 21 through 30, there are going to be certain resources and materials that are only available on certain stages, And you're also going to have specific champion unlocks that are going to be available on those stages as well. As you might imagine, the Cavern is one of the most important things for you to master as you're first starting the game. And I think it also offers a really great mechanic for people to learn how to play the game very early on. You're going to be just doing all these different challenge stages, and it is going to be a little bit monotonous, but it's going to teach you team building. It's going to help you learn, how to go against specific setups in the game, and you're going to earn a lot of resources that you can then pump back into specific teams that you're trying to put together for specific fight. I don't want this video to go too long, and I think we've covered all the basics for GODFORGE, but let's go ahead and do one battle. Obviously, we have to use Lady Zoc. We'll throw her in. And I really like the setup, the aesthetic of, being able to see the map here. It's a little bit interactive. It's kind of nice. And there are a few different points of view. So we can do the top down. We can do this kind of paired back a little bit further back off of the champions, and then we can get a little bit more close up. Honestly, I like to have this second option here, the ACT. You can go in 2x mode, and then you can also just kind of auto attack if you prefer that. I do tend to like to control my champions for the most part. There are some situations where I just know I'm going to win fairly handily, especially if I'm like doing reruns of a specific level to try to get more gear. Then I'll probably just throw it on auto, step away, and come back. That's a pretty common strategy in these types of games. Now, if you hold click or hold hard press, you will be able to get some information on the skills that you have available. You can see here that bloodletting is going to allow you to attack one enemy with a 35% chance to place one stack of bleed on the target. That's going to be important for longer battles, getting those bleeds up and letting them do their thing. You can click this details button, and it's going to give you a little bit more information about what's going on. So really awesome that you can see the exact effects and what they do. DC Dark Legion, the main game that I play, you don't have that ability. It's almost a guessing game sometimes to see what is being inflicted on champions. So really nice that you can kind of see what you're able to do with your abilities right here in the game, and it kind of pauses everything so you can make better strategic decisions. Bleed is going to inflict 1% of max HP damage at the start of a hero's turn, and it can stack up to 10 times, so really nice ability. So we'll go ahead and throw that on the enemy, and we're able to beat them pretty handily here. Now we do have our ultimate ability available, so it's called Sacrificial Rite. It's going to be an AoE ability, and it hits twice. So really nice, and it also puts speed up on your champion for a couple of turns, which is, again, very, very important in games like this. Let's go ahead and use that ultimate, and we win that wave pretty easily there. And we'll just do our basic attack once. We should be getting our other, I believe this is another AoE ability here. Take a look. So attack all enemies with additional chance at strong hit. And it can also place a stack of bleed on each target as well. So super important, again, to be trying to get those stacks of bleed on everyone. Basic attack should handle that. And we unlocked a mummy. We got a Spartan. And now we've got a couple of champions that we can start doing some basic team building with. Now at the victory or defeat screen, I suppose, depending on how well you did, you do have a couple of ways to get out of the screen. You can go next. You can replay the mission. You can edit your roster before you go back in again. You can go look at your hero screen. You can go back to the main cavern screen, or you can go to the Sanctum. We'll go to the Sanctum, and let's close this video out. Again, I'm really looking forward to playing some more GODFORGE. I've enjoyed playing in the alpha stages so far. Been able to put a little bit of time into it, but I haven't really been able to kind of deep dive into any of the champions or their abilities. I know there are some folks already out there putting some tier list together. I know Ragewood Gaming is one of those people who has been putting out a massive amount of content for the game so far. So if you are looking for any more information on the game and you really want to go, headlong into a lot of information that's already out there, definitely recommend you giving Ragewood a follow. And obviously, if you enjoyed this precursor video into my channel for GODFORGE, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel, giving this video a like, And if not, I'll definitely see at least some of you on the next video.